Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another segment of Read With Me. I am your host, Kelley Michelle. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning into this YouTube channel. This channel focuses on reading together separately. So I pick one book per month and we read that book together separately for that month. So I divide the number of chapters up so that when I post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am sharing my reflections and thoughts from the assigned chapters that we read. The goal is to read 12 books per year. Like I said, one book per month. And we have already read January through March, and now we're about to dive into April. So I want to remind you to pick up the book for April, which is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And you can get this book wherever books are sold, and we will be reading this book the month of April. But today I'm going to be doing something new. We just finished, as I mentioned, the first quarter of the year's books. And as a reminder, we read in January, The Atomic Habits by James Clear. February, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. And The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins was our March book. And so today I'm going to do a little book review for the first quarter of the year, just kind of wrapping it up, giving my thoughts about the books that we read for our inaugural year of Read With Me. And I will say that I really enjoyed reading these three books. As I mentioned before, I actually had read these books before I selected these books in my book club, but I wanted to share these books with you all. So today, I'm just going to give you just a few thoughts and highlights from this first quarter of the year. And I will say that I may or may not do this every single quarter, but I wanted to do it the first quarter, kind of like a first quarter roundup or just kind of overview. So in January, we read The Atomic Habits. And like I said, this was a really good book. It's about building good habits and sustaining good habits. And the reason why I picked this book is because in January, so many of us create resolutions, things that we want to do for the beginning of the year or to last throughout the entire year, creating new habits. And I thought that this would be a great book for us to start with. It's titled Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. And I just want to share just a couple of quick things that I have learned and highlighted from this book. If you didn't read this book, please feel free to go back to my videos about Atomic Habits that I did in January, and it'll give you a chapter by chapter breakdown with me sharing more specifically my thoughts and reviews of the book. So just here's a few different things that I just highlighted, stuck out to me, and I took away from the book. One is focus on creating systems versus creating habits. So the different systems that we put in place will help us have sustainable habits. Your habits are a vote for the person that you are. Process of building a habit are 4 different things, which is cue, crave, response, and reward. Habits thrive under predictable circumstances. We are attracted to habits that are normal in our culture. So the book talked about how our culture, our upbringing plays a role in our habits. The most effective form of motivation is progress. And finally, the greatest threat to success is not failure, it's boredom. So those are a few takeaways that I took from Atomic Habits. This book, over 10 million copies were sold. I was excited to reread this book. I had read this book a long time ago because it originally came out in 2018. So I think I read it around 2019, 2020. So it was good to pick this book up again. There were some new things that I learned, and then there were some things that were reiterated from my first time reading this book. So I really enjoyed this book, and I recommend it if you have not read it already. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Moving on to February's book. So in February, I changed it up by doing a fiction book versus doing a nonfiction book. And I'm going to be honest with you all. I absolutely loved the story, and I enjoyed reading this book. There was so many twists and turns and things that were unpredictable, and it was a page turner for me. But what I struggled with was actually the taping and doing the episodes, because when I was doing the episodes, I felt like I was just regurgitating the story. And then I was also had so many spoilers about what was going to happen. So I definitely do enjoy fiction books, but it is something that I'm going to have to really learn on how to be able to share fiction books on this platform with us reading together separately. But like I said, I thought that this was an excellent book. I really enjoyed the book. In my personal book club, we are reading the sequel, which is The Perfect Divorce, next month. So I'm excited to read the sequel, but it definitely was a gripping story. So as you recall, the story was about Adam and his wife, Sarah, who was a criminal attorney. Adam stepped out of his marriage, and we find out that his secret lover, the person he's having an affair with, which her name happened to be Kelley, is murdered in their lake house. And then it just unfolds, what happens since she was murdered and who are the suspects. And it was just so many twists and turns in this story. So I definitely recommend it. If you have not read this book, if you like a lot of twists and turns, if you like a page turner, if you like a good story, a gripping story, this is an excellent book, which is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. And then finally, the book that we read for the month of March was The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And again, this book was a book that I had already read before, and it really was focusing on, tools to help yourself in relationships, whatever type of relationships, and teaching people to protect your time, your energy, and your focus, and really focusing on things that I can change versus things that I can't change. And the things that are out of my control, let them. If people act a certain way, let them. And then it's personalized to let me. So whatever someone else might do, which is external, and I might have influence, on someone's behavior, but at the end of the day, it's their own behavior. They're the ones that make the decisions that they make. I am only in charge of me, and it's let me respond, let me react, let me process however I'm supposed to process, take action, behave based upon, what's going on in my life. So that's what the Let Them theory was about. And I thought it was an excellent book. Like I said, this was a book that I had read before, and I thought it was so good that I wanted to bring it to this platform. And I'm just going to share just a couple of highlights. If you have not read this book, I highly recommend it. But if you want to look at the episodes, please go to March episodes, and we will be going through chapter by chapter, step by step, this book, and I'll be sharing my thoughts and reflections. But here are just a few things that I wanted to highlight from this book. So, one thing, your happiness is tied to your actions, not someone else's behaviors, opinions, or mood. Let me only control what I can control myself. You are never stuck. You always have a choice. Centering yourself is a way to protect your fear of other people's opinions. Negative emotions are a mentally healthy response to life's upsets. No one else's wins are your losses. The warmth you offer others always finds its way back to you. Model the change behavior you want to see. Focus on the value of your time and energy when having tough relationship conversations. And finally, healing is a choice. So those are a few of my takeaways from the Let Them theory. I really enjoyed all 3 books that we read for this first quarter of the year, and I am so looking forward to the next quarter of the year and the books that we'll get into for April, May, and June. Like I said, if you missed any of the episodes for any of the books that we discussed the first quarter, please go back to those episodes and walk through those books. I always leave you just with a couple of things, which is encouraging you to read. Spend some time today to read 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something to sharpen your mind or engage in a great story. Please again pick up our book for April, which is The Psychology of Money. It is available wherever books are sold. If you are enjoying this channel, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also tell a friend. If you know others that really enjoy reading, and we're doing this virtually together, please invite them to join this channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I cannot believe that we have already gone through 3 books. January, February, and March, our inaugural year of this channel. We've finished 3 books already. I'm so excited for so many more books for us to read together rather. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, happy reading.